can't just say, let's say we decided we were blessed to build a new building out here in this wonderful lot, a church. And everybody just started giving us lumber, and people gave us nails, and people gave us all the things that we needed. You can't just throw that out there and say it's a house. I mean, or a building. Somebody's got to have a blueprint. You need a blueprint. And this is what I see that she's saying. And her book, which is fascinating, is built upon the idea of decoding the whole New Testament into human evolution. Evolution. The scripture that she read there is one of the most powerful scriptures, I think, that every one of you need to understand. And I'm going to start there and remind you of it. Thank God we shall not all sleep. Yes. Oh my goodness, do you feel that? I feel hope in that. Yes. Thank God. Not everybody's going to stay asleep in the illusion and the 3D simulation world of illusion, but we shall wake up. And it says that we shall not all sleep, but we shall be changed. The word change there comes from the Greek. It's translated from the Greek word metamorpho. And you know what that means. So we're talking about a big change. We're not talking about a change in linear. We're talking about something bigger than change. And that would be the word transformation. To me is a different thing than just changing something. You can change your clothes, you can change your dress, you can change cars for another car. But sometimes it's good to evolve to the next level of what's available to you. So believing that we are a part of this process of co-creation. So we shall be changed in a moment. In a moment. What does that mean, a moment? A moment is what, maybe 60 seconds in time? We say just a moment. That can mean a lot of things. It's irrelevant what a moment can mean. But it doesn't mean anything to do with time at all, but it comes from the Greek word atomos. Atomos. I went to a Greek Orthodox church to check this out because I wanted to be very clear about it. Now, what's interesting about the word atomos is we get the English word atom. The word atoms of our body come from atomos. So what this is saying is that we are going to experience an awakening that is going to transform us all the way to the cellular level. It's not going to be just a mystical experience. It's not just an experience within. I'm glad for that, but enough's enough. I'm tired of visiting inside myself. I say I visit heaven and then I live in hell. I say, why don't you live in heaven and go visit hell once in a while and get a few people out? That's okay. But we got this kind of backwards. We should be living in a state of paradise. Jesus said, you'll be with me in paradise today. And paradise means a place of total peace that passes understanding, joy that's exceeding, life that is abundant. It is a wonderful place that we all want to get to, and there's a yearning for us to get there. So I think all of us that I'm speaking to today, both present here and not present with us, know that we've all received a vision. I think through New Thought, through many of the spiritual things that have gone on, especially the last, 3 decades or more that's come along, that I think we all have a vision of what it would mean to live in a new earth. When Tolly made that popular, and really I have to give Oprah more credit for making it popular to millions and millions of people. If you remember, she did classes on it. That was worldwide for a while. She was so impressed with this idea of the new earth that Tolly had written about. But here's the thing that I think is missing that we have to step up for and realize. We're not just going to step into this without participation. Responsibility. We have to get involved. more than I think that we're realizing. Involved does not mean as much as I love for you to come here on Sunday mornings and Wednesday mornings, and you that come to all the wonderful things that are here. But don't think that is being just what it means to be involved. Involved means to find your passion, to find your purpose, to find the reason that you are alive and living on this planet at this particular time of the last Trump. And I will say no more about that. I'm just quoting. It just said at the last Trump, things are going to change. There's going to be a new sound in town. But that is a good place to get started. A good place to get started, to get involved as a co-creator, is working with consciousness and inconsciousness. That every one of you can do. A lot of you here may not really know, maybe my purpose isn't to sing like we heard today, or to play like Greg, or to get up and teach and speak like I do, or Valora so wonderful, and so many of you that have so many wonderful gifts and talents here have. But, and you say, because I can't do that, because I can't write books like Jackie does, or I can't do this like so-and-so does. I feel so worthless. I don't have any gift or whatever. Yes, you do, or you wouldn't be here. You wouldn't be living at this time. You're not an accident. You're a purpose that's here on the planet, and we need to spend time exploring more about the purpose that we have. We all know what our purpose is, but we have forgotten what our purpose is. As we've come into the density of this very dense 3D world of materialism and physiology, we've forgot a lot of things, but a lot of things have not forgotten us. And some of I just feel this. Some of this is what's activating in your life that's really throwing you off. Is some things you have forgotten are becoming activated, and it is shaking up your life as you know it. Because there's a reattunement going on. Come on, somebody help me. Remember, I used that idea of going down here to the symphony, and you love symphony music, and you go early, and all of the different parts of the orchestra is tuning, and some are too high, some strings are too low, some are too tight, some are too whatever, and it doesn't sound good at all when you're sitting there, and each part of the orchestra is doing its own thing and tuning. But once they get tuned individually, and the conductor comes out with the baton, and all of that comes together into a harmony, and you go, and you feel that. That's what's going to happen as each one of you find the individual tuning that you need to go through to get you to the frequency that you were born to have. And you do have, but you've forgotten it. So that's called an attunement. An attunement. I don't mean to be telling this, but I'm going to, because I love to tell it. When I got into vibration and sound business over 25 years ago and started Soul Energetics and tuning forks, basically one of the great things that encouraged me to do that was an experience in which a book fell off my bookshelf in my office right in front of me. I mean, right off the bookshelf. And it was a book that I had never had any desire to read. It was this thick, it was difficult reading, called The Keys of Enoch. The Keys of Enoch. But I'd had it for years. And I was just at a place where I was trying to figure out, do I want to follow the path? Because I was at a fork in the road, literally. Because I had found these tuning forks of these spatial frequencies that had been lost from the 17th century and so on and so forth. And I didn't know what to do with them, but I was drawn to them. I was just so drawn to them. And when I got them, it changed my life, basically. But I had to make a decision. I was at a crossroad because I had built up a nice ministry. I had a lot of, I don't like the term followers, but I had a lot of people who was resonating with what I was doing and supporting me that would not accept the fact of tuning forks. So I knew that there's going to be a big change there. But anyway, to make this short as I can, that book turned open to a place that I picked up. I thought Tim might have it, but
I'm almost there.
He's almost there. But I'd like to share it with you. I don't know why. This is just coming right out of the blue. Okay, I'm going to have to go back here and read it. It says, we will not suffer the negative irradiation or excessive ultraviolet radiation that will bombard the places of the earth, for we will inhabit the safe zones at the time of the great geophysical upheavals. You want to just take that in a moment. Read it. The thought adjusters are now. I love this term. I'm not good on labels for myself, but I don't mind you calling me a thought adjuster. That's what I've been doing for a lot of decades, is going around the country trying to adjust people's thoughts from old Christian dogma and doctrines to their own innate intelligence. So I get that one. But the thought adjusters are now correcting and repairing our blood crystallized levels of ionized consciousness through frequency attunement. I said, this thing's going to be done through frequencies. This thing's going to be done through vibrations. And at the time, I'd just gotten these tuning forks, didn't know what to do with them. Now listen to the next part of it. This tuning, this retuning of a people, it says, will be the making of a people within a people. Mm-hmm. And a mind of light within a mind of light. With this change, the physical flesh, the temple of the higher garment, will receive a new garment of light. Amen. That changed everything. I knew that I was going to be a part of the vibrational frequency sound community at that moment. And it's when I gave in and said yes to that and made that choice that the downloads begin to come, the right people begin to show up, everything began to come together that created something that became internationally known and worldwide, and still remains today with new owners, as we've stepped back from it, but it is still out there. It is still using my teachings, and I've kind of left my mark by the idea of frequency and vibration. I'm going to start with an opening affirmation. I am an evolutionary spark in the divine, unfolding, co-creating a world of love, harmony, and higher consciousness. I am an evolutionary spark. Say it. I am an evolutionary spark. Not just a spark, but evolutionary. It carries the blueprint of the next level of what it means to be a human being. Now, I have a very different take than I know most people, ministers, whether they're Orthodox or not Orthodox, but I was told back in the late 70s, laying across my bed, resting between services of all place, Hot Springs, Arkansas, in a convention, I was told by that inner voice, go tell them I did not create their physical bodies. That was a challenging thing, because I just assumed, like everybody else, although I've questioned it. Because I've thought, if a loving, all-spiritual God that I thought God was created physical bodies, I think he could have done a better job. My physical body does not testify of life and health and wholeness. It does not. That's the bad news. The good news is we shall not all sleep, but we shall be changed to the atoms of our body. Somebody's got ears. Hear what I'm saying to you. There is a new blueprint in you for a body where light will run through your veins and not blood. Blood is congealed light. Of course, everything comes from light. We know that. But the fact that this mentions that there is a consciousness in the blood that needs to be released, it's almost like it hid itself in the blood system until there was a time in which it would be activated through frequency. You know, blood is all over the Bible, which has turned a lot of you off. But again, don't throw everything out when you understand that blood from a spiritual level is light. It's light. The scripture says that blood is the life of the flesh. What it says? That's what it says. Blood is the life of the flesh. Now it goes on and says that the life is the light of all men. Do you see it? Now, a lot of people, and I've done teaching on this in the last 15, 20 years also, but something became very interesting and popular called the Merkabah or the Merkabah, however you want to pronounce it, which means light body. And the light body, the blueprint for the light body is in you right now. You have the blueprint for your light body. And your light body will show up when you get the right combination of the right frequencies working together as keys, somebody help me, as keys. I give you the keys to the kingdom. David had the keys through his music. David's keys was what drove the evil away from the king, and all of the negativity and everything was through the music and through the different frequencies that was played at that time. And those frequencies got lost. They got lost. Now the early pre-Catholic church got a hold of them and did them in Latin. Yes. I've told you every one of these main religions has a mystical side to it in the beginning. They didn't start out what they are today. They were organized into what they are today. But they started out, by somebody having an experience. I want you to get this. I don't care if it's Muhammad, I don't care if it's Buddha, I don't care if it's Jesus, whoever has brought something to the planet that has survived for thousands of years and people feel resonated to it is because they had an experience, and people go to the one who had the experience without the experience the founder had. I hope that makes sense to you. In other words, I'm convinced that everyone who has started these major religions in the world started because they had an experience. Unfortunately, they gathered a bunch of believers in their experience who didn't get the experience. You've got to come back to realize the true, I'm going to use the term church, the true church. And I've tried to teach you here what the church is. It is the ecclesia. It's not a building. You thought you got up this morning and said, I'm going to church. How many of you even said that or thought that? I got to get ready for church today. Oh no, you are the church. You came to the building. You are the church. The church is the people. Upon this rock shall I build my church. And that word rock, I did a lot of research on it took me back to an old meaning that said, as a cradle rocking back and forth. And I went, oh my God, this is a movement. I'm going to build it on a vibration and a frequency. And I think the frequency is the I am frequency. It's the cornerstone of the new church, of the new people that are going to be building consciousness to a level that the frequency of their consciousness is going to match the frequency of divine mind Christ consciousness until they become one consciousness. And when that one consciousness becomes together, it is going to emanate out through the frequency and start changing how your cells start replicating themselves, because they're going to read a new and different vibrational blueprint than your old ancestral one with all of the issues of, oh my goodness, you don't need to keep building a body that's got myisms in it. You don't need to keep building a body that has cancer running through it and the potential of it. You don't need to keep running a body where there's a tendency toward depression and alcoholism. You don't need to keep doing a body. I'm telling you here, change your frequency and get a new body. The Bible calls it the redemption of the body. Paul talks about the redemption of the body. Genesis 1:26, these are simple. Let us make man in our image and likeness. Like creator, like creation. Everything that you can say God is. Now, here's how I define it. If I say God is God, I'm going to use that term, capital G-O-D, that would mean I'm talking about source. Now, if I'm going to talk about who I am as the creation of it, I'm going to use God with a little g. We got God and God. If God is love with a capital L. But as his expression in the earth, I am love with a little l. My mother taught me that. One time I was really not very nice. And just one time, that's all. I just acted up one time. I said something about I hate you, or some silly thing like that, a kid. And my mother said to me, I think I called her stupid. She says, well, if you're stupid, if I'm stupid, you're little stupid. I never forgot that. That shut me up, because I realized what I called her, I was calling myself. I was the expression of her genetically. And we call that the one with the little letter, the Son of God. The Son of God. The Son of God means like a ray to the sun. The ray isn't all the sun, but it is the sun individualized itself as a ray. We are the rays or the sun of the true Creator. And what I'm saying here is we can't just look to a separate God to do all the creating for us when we need healing or when we need prosperity or when we need something like that. What the Creator is looking for is relationship and participation on our part. That's called co-creative. Co-creative. Romans 8:9 says, for the creation waits with eager longing for the revealing of the children of God. Barbara saw this as a call to humanity to wake up to our divine nature. The universe is waiting for us to recognize and embody our role as co-creators. As co-creators. This one we've heard over and over, John 14, verily, verily I tell you unto you, whosoever believes in me will do the works that I'm doing, and even greater thing shall you do. Because there's more of you. There's more of you. Key elements of co-creation. First of all, there must be conscious evolution. We are not passive recipients of evolution. We are conscious participating by using the power of choice. You heard her talk about that. I had to do that with Soma Energetics. It was about a choice. Because I was saying, tell me what to do. Tell me what to do. How many of you do that? I'm waiting. Tell me. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. Should I do this? Should I leave my job? Should I get in this relationship? Tell me what to do. You know, there was a time, and all of you will relate to the fact you have raised children, that there's a time you have to tell your children what to do. It's to their good. Huh? You have to start with law. You have to lay down the law. You don't play near the stove. You don't do this. You don't do that. You begin to help them at a time that they're less developed and not mature. Right? And then they go into those very challenging adolescent years that are so challenging because all you're going to say to them, you're too old. You're too young. You're too old. You're too young. It's a very interesting time. But still at that time, you still need to lay down some laws. Maybe as they begin to date or begin to go out with classmates, you start setting a curfew. You need to be in at a certain time. But at the same time, you've relaxed from the infancy to the adolescence a little bit more. But there's kind of a mixture now of law and grace in the adolescent state. And then your child becomes your adult child. Always your child. But your adult child becomes an adult like you're an adult. Now there's an equality going on between you and your child. So that means, Mom, Dad, you cannot tell me everything to do now. I'm grown. And that's when you need wisdom out of how to correctly maneuver them through those years in life that they are making big decisions about what job they're going to have, what relationship they're going to get involved in, and all those kind of things. So they may come to you and say, I would like to talk to you. Mom, what do you think about this? And Mom tells you what she thinks about it, and you go, well, I really appreciate that, Mom. But no, I think this is what I want to do. And there's nothing to do because there's an equality as adult to adult. And this is why I've stressed the 6.5 years that I've been here that this place is about spiritual growth. It is moving us from babes in Christ who are suckling on the milk of the Word to those who are beginning to move into becoming adolescent children. Children, not infants, but children, learning to take responsibility. Paul said it so good. When I was a child, I spake like one. But when I became an adult, I didn't speak that way anymore. I put away my childish things. And one of my favorite ones is in Ephesians 4, till we grow into the fullness of the stature of Jesus Christ, being no more children, being tossed to and fro by every wind of doctrine, but growing up in love. And I think that's what's been missing in religion, that as I see it, is the ability, the space to grow. Most people learn whatever the doctrines are of the church, whatever the basic creed of the church is, and that's pretty much where you stay with it. But there's not a lot of researching, there's not a lot of pure discussion, there's not that digging deeper into it. Why, and I keep saying this, but why Christian churches who believe in the infallible word of the Bible, why they do not come to the conclusion that the Bible, as it's translated, no one spoke English. That's common sense. Nobody. And I was told you stay away from that Eastern stuff. Don't you get into meditation and Eastern stuff. Stay away from those chakras. Stay away from anything that's Eastern because it is not Christian. No, what they were saying, it was not white Western Christianity that was taking over the nation in some way or another. So we need to grow up. But when you grow up, it means the R word, responsibility, the ability to respond. I believe in the power of synergy. I believe that we are more together than we are alone. I think there's a reason why it said Jesus sent them out by twos. He made sure that nobody ever did anything alone. Where two or three are gathered in my name or my nature, I am in the midst of them. The I is the synergy of the two or three. The I is the presence that the three make that is greater than the sum of the parts. Right. You come here today, if you individually, each one of you, as you're participating, as you're up clapping, as you're up singing, as you're participating in any way in this service today, you've been a part of creating a field, a collective field that we're going to call the presence of this service. However you experience the presence in this service has been how you contributed yourself to co-create the presence in this room. Do you get that? Yes. So the more you open, the more you participate, the more you let go a little bit, the more that you really get into it a little bit, the more that you will help to create a specific morphogenic presence or field that we can all benefit from, and not just individually, but we have access to it because of how we co-create. In other words, I'm saying every service is co-created. That's why I'm saying, but boy, that was a great Sunday. Boy, that service, I don't know what was different about it, but I'll tell you, because things came together in a specific way in that service. Maybe there's a service where you don't feel a lot, I didn't get a lot out of it, or whatever. Well, we created that too. So I'm really saying to you, I'm putting some of this on you, that it's not just up to me up here to make sure everything goes a certain way. I need your participation. I need your co-creation and your gifts and your talents so that we can always create something that's bigger even than the spiritual leader. See, I always want something to be bigger than me here. Ernest Holmes, founder of Science of Mind, wrote, "We are in the midst of an infinite creative process." I so love that. We're in the midst of an infinite creative process, and we are using it every moment of our lives, whether we know it or not. This perfectly aligns with Barbara's vision of conscious evolution. Unities, Charles Fillmore also emphasized the power of divine ideas flowing through us. In the unity tradition, we recognize that our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs are powerful creative forces. When we align with the Spirit, we become active participants in the creation of a better world. So in spite of ourselves, things are going on in the background of life. So eventually, I believe that everyone will have a benefit of it. But those who are entering into working with it and co-creating with it are the ones that actually are the ones that's going to be what I call the first fruits of the harvest. And that's what's needed right now. All is needed right now is not everybody. The call is not to everybody right now. The call is to a critical mass of souls who have chosen to be here at this time and to create a group, a people within a people, a light within a light. I don't know how to get that over to you, but you've got to understand there's always first fruits of a harvest. Things do not all blossom at the same time. I don't know if we're going to do anything with our garden this year. I would love to see somebody want to do that, but we've got a great garden out there. But if somebody did and we started planting seeds, I'll trust trust me, you're going to see certain parts of those seeds come up before other seeds come up. The others will come, but there's always the first fruits of that. You are not here by accident. You are not even open to come to HeartLight and hear the level of the message that comes from here unless you have already begun to feel an activation of your purpose and your code that you bring with you. This is your time. That's why not everybody will find what we teach here at all appealing to them. They'll find it somewhere else. I mean, there's many levels of teaching out there. Everybody can find a certain level that they can relate to. But to you who are ready to take and step into your role as called creators is very important. I'm going to stop here in just a moment, but I'm going to ask you to join with me, and we're going to read something together. We'll start with our passion together. Our passion to create, to express ourselves is rising within us. The gifts and talents spark are being activated. A discontent from within or attraction from without. Our essential self propels us to come forth as we really are. One day we meet someone or read a book or have an insight and we are drawn to our vocation or calling, that which we are born to do. The soul is sparked and we know we must do something more. The second life cycle begins. It is a time of tremendous awakening and excitement. So what I ask you today and leave you with is this week, if you can, finding time for your meditation, your quiet time, is to see if you can connect with that innate urge in you. Find that urge, that sacred urge to be realigned with your purpose for who you are and why that you have chosen to come onto the planet at this particular time. I would like to see us go through some of her teachings. I don't know when, we may turn it to a Wednesday thing, but she has a wonderful book on how that we can gather ourselves into small groups and communities to be co-creative and to create. And I think that some of us who feel called to that should consider going through a series of the teachings on being a co-creative partner. All right, let's take a moment and after every message, I turn it all over to the Holy Spirit. I release it to you that you may receive as you have heard it, as you've received it in your own way. Maybe you want to start out with asking, am I called to be a co-creator at this time? Do I have a purpose that has not yet been awakened in me yet? Am I still wandering around through this three-dimensional world trying to find something that I can't seem to find that is satisfying me? I've gone through relationships, I've gone through jobs, I've gone through family issues, but now I want to connect to the yearning in me to be about my Father's business. Oh, Holy Spirit, awaken in me my purpose, all agreements and contracts made previously and during this incarnation. Realign me to what it is that I have said yes to before I came, that I might live an aligned, mindful, and conscious life. And finally, I open my heart and say yes to the universe. I say yes to the universe. Whatever that means, however it will change my life, how much it will shake up my life, my relationships, my family issues, whatever it is, I'm willing to find it until I'm realigned into the divine frequency of the I Am presence that I am. Choose this day in whom you will serve. Choose this day, and all it takes is yes. I said yes, yes, yes. I said yes, yes, yes. I said yes, Lord. I said yes, yes. I said yes. I said yes, yes, yes. I said yes, yes, yes. I said yes, Lord. I said yes, yes, yes. I said yes. Know today what you have said yes to. Know that you've opened the floodgates of your life for Spirit to work sovereignly, intensifyingly, and getting us ready and prepared strategically to be in the right place at the right time. That's all the moving in your life that's going on. That's all the moving that's going on, all the rearranging, all the things that's not working that did work, all the things that are going on are all just part of the retuning of your life, positioning you to be in the right place at the right time. Ask this week, what can I do to be involved in helping to co-create? Now, if your calling would be to be a person who wants to demonstrate for your rights and your values, bless you. I bless those who are called to be activists for what they believe. But this thing, and I'm going to close with this, but I want you to get this. This thing's not going to be done from the outside first. It's going to be an inside job. This thing's got to come like a thief in the night. For if the strong man in the house knew it was coming, he'd have been ready. So today we join, I believe, millions across the world in small groups of people who are gathering just like we do here at HeartLight and our sister church. Because we're a part of something that is coming in through the back door of consciousness. Just one more time, I said yes. I want to hear you say it. I said yes. 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 Say it now. I said yes. I said yes, yes, yes. I said yes, yes.